I was streaming earlier today, but the internet cut out. Yeah, this of course makes me a bit nervous about our big live stream on Saturday. We're gonna have, I'm gonna meet with two other animators, and we're gonna be talking about the animation of a game called A Minute of Island. And I hope my internet is gonna hold up when we are doing that on Sunday. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit shaken by this. But yeah, we're back. This is just a cozy watch me work live stream, and we can talk a little bit about art and animation while we're working on some stuff here. I'm of course continuing the animation with our lovely penguin. Yeah, we did the blocking last time. Here we have it. And now we're gonna fill this blocking with in-betweens, and I'm starting to make straight ahead passes on single elements, like just the head, and make sure that I have that right before I start doing the cleanup. Yeah, so how does it look if you switch both on at the same time? A bit weird. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna work more on this, and I hope that the internet works now. We will see. There's also a new streaming setup, so if you notice any issues, like my microphone being too quiet or too loud or something like this, we can still adjust that. I'm still getting the hang of this here. Maybe the compressor is a bit aggressive. Maybe this is a little bit better. I don't know. Still working on it. Alright, so let's see. Let's do the head turn over. And you know what? Let's just do this backwards. This is the post that we have to hit. So let's just trace the pretty good drawing that we already had here for this. The reason why why I don't copy paste it is because I might do changes here in this phase. But right now I'm just taking the drawings as they are, because I was quite happy with how it looked in the tie down. Alright, so now we can begin to really animate here. Let's put in a nice ease. Maybe switch off the... Yeah, I kind of want to hit those eye shapes that I had here in the E-post scribbles. So let's just transfer that over. I think it needs to be a little higher though, because we made the arc a bit higher in the straight ahead pass. You know, the scribbling your key poses first is really important and nice, but I really like to stray off of them. Okay, I think now we have the most important ones transferred over. Let's have a fast eye dart. Maybe this was a bit too quick for like the head shape. Let's keep the head more here. And there we have an ease. We still have the eyebrows coming down. All right. Okay, let's see how that looks. You know what? To really sell the eye roll, let's have that frame here look really up, and this one is still coming over from looking up, so we really have an eye roll. Maybe this starts like this. Okay, let's keep that eyebrow a little further up. Hey, Harry. Welcome to the stream. Tilting up the eyebrow. Yeah. Thank you, Harry. Alright, okay, I'm starting to noodling around. I call it when you just keep watching your animation and you're like, oh, this is pretty nice. I call that noodling. A good day to you too, Harry. Kurt asks, are you using OBS to broadcast? Yeah, I'm now using OBS. I was using vMix previously for all my streams. But I wanted to try OBS because I do like a couple things a little more of how you position the sources in on the screen and stuff like this. That's all a bit tricky in vMix. Right, let's copy the drawings over where we know that they will be exactly the same. We do have a couple which can't be exactly the same, like this one. I do like the shape that we had for the beak, but it definitely needs to be brought further up. I do like this. I do like it like that. Yeah, you know, this is the position now that it can have. This is good. Up this shape a little bit. I do like a little bit of asymmetry in my characters. This was a bit too much just now. Okay, let's continue our pass of the head and see what's coming up next. Okay, next one is gonna be tricky because I do want to do it a little bit different than from what we have in the poses. Like, I do have a little bit of a settle here. Now I want the head to dip down, but I want the like here in the pose. Hi Seven, great that you're back too. Yeah, my internet cut out, unfortunately. It still can happen. Still can happen nowadays that internet gets randomly off. It's so strange. It's the first time in a long time that my internet cuts out. And of course it happens while I live stream. Eli Kim is back too. That's great. Great that you guys came back. Alrighty. So, as I said, I want to split up the animation. Like, I want the head to come down, and you know, as always, We're gonna start that with an ease. That is very close to the previous drawing. Very, very close, dipping down. Oh man, I'm so nervous that the live stream will cut off during the stream on Sunday when I have, you know, when I have guests in this stream. That's very embarrassing if that happens. But, you know, of course it's not in my hand if the internet decides to not work. Alright, so just the teeniest bit of an ease. There we go. Bye, Harry. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again soon. Alrighty, so let's put in a breakdown. And then we're gonna have an ease. And you know what? Let's nudge the eyes a little further down so we can really make sure to see the facial expression. Alright, and now for the hand, I want the hand to be a little bit slower. So let's indicate that by having the... Let's do the flipper right here. And, you know, while the... While the post drawing underneath is already so far down, I think I want it to be less like that. Okay, let's see how that looks without the... Alright, so head dips down first, and then notably the hand still comes one down. And then the hand goes up again. This of course will happen in an ease as well. So we will have I'll have it like this first. And then it will be where it is in the drawing. So that's how we move astray from the poses. You know, just because we made the poses a certain way doesn't mean we need to stick to it. That doesn't look quite as good as I hoped. Let's see if we can figure this out. I think something like this, and then the bend comes in after it settles. Doesn't look as good as I thought it would. The overshoot. Hi Scott, nice to see you. Yeah, oh, we really need to talk, Scott. There's always so much to do. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just go ahead and just animate all the things that we want to? But then there are still such things as paid jobs that need to be done. But that's life, I guess. Yeah, okay, I think I really do not like the overshoot for it. Like, let's have a look at the original poses. I do like this little overshoot here. Maybe it just has to be a lot more subtle. Maybe I should just stick with what I scribbled. Because that big overshoot that we're doing with the flipper, that doesn't... No, that does not work. Alright, so let's delete all these and start over. You know, and this is the nice thing about a scribbled straight ahead layer like this. You don't lose a lot of work. You didn't do your complete character. And, you know, this probably looks a little weird because for a lot of times in the live stream we only have these eyes, but that does keep us more flexible. Okay, so you know what? Let's just trace the frames that I liked. So this is start. This is the overshoot. Probably should be reached here. Or you know what? Even one later. Let's have the overshoot here. And then the relax pose here. And let's make sure we see his eyes. That I hope meet the director's description of charmingly suspicious. Alright, and then we only have like an ease here to soften the motion a little bit as it comes up. Oh boy, okay, here. Okay. And the rest is gonna be a classic. Starting the motion with an ease here, like that. And ending the motion with an ease. And now we have something in between here. Okay. Now it is exactly like the plan was. It's a lot more subtle, but I think that's gonna be okay. Yeah, this was like the biggest part of the animation that I wanted to... That is the reason why we did the straight ahead pass, because I was very unsure about this one part of the animation. And I think the rest of the problems we can probably solve, some of them in cleanup, and we don't need to make a complete scribble here. I like when the beak is so pointy. I'm always really confused when the director, he's also animating, sends me his shot. He animates the beak a lot softer than I do. But the model sheet has it with all these angles. And I think I'm gonna keep drawing it like that until he tells me to stop. Yeah, I don't think I want to move the beak in these frames. Okay, lip sync, I really don't know what's going on with the lip sync in this at this point in time, so the beak is just like a placeholder. Yeah. Scott is asking, anyone in the chat a 3D animator? 3D animators, raise your hands. Yeah, I think the live stream crowd by now has been gotten used to 2D animation. But yeah, we should definitely have more 3D here. In the beginning, I got quite a few questions for 3D animation, and I always had to scrape like at the back of my animation education, because I learned 3D stuff and all of it, and I have animated 3D, but a long time ago. And if I do animate 3D nowadays, it's I do almost everything in 2D first, and then I just copy the poses over. Bro, I'm not even an animator, says Seven. Well, Headset goes to draw my own animation. Good luck with that. Really? No 3D animators? Usually there are a couple of Blender and Maya nerds here. Do you want to learn animation, 7? Okay, so... Alright. I'm not sure how much of the head I actually... The head and the head I actually want to do in this scribble layer, because, you know, I will have to do it in cleanup again anyway. But yeah, maybe this line here. Wait, let's keep this line down and pull it up during this animation. So this, it's only coming up. Yeah, you see that this 3D rotation here, I think this is gonna be really nice in selling the perspective. Mm-hmm. Seven, I'm just joking, bro. I have learned animation from the channel. That's why I am here. Yeah, technically, like the moment you watch a couple of my videos, you start becoming an animator. Impossible to watch my videos without being an animator. That's how it is. Vinny, stopping by to thank you. I used your 2D animation videos to start learning. And a month later, got into college for animation. Wow, congratulations. Thank you so much for your videos and kindness of sharing your knowledge. Ah, that's so great to hear. Thank you very much. I'm so happy. That's great. And it's great that you got into college for anime. That's amazing. Cool. Like, enjoy it. I feel like the college time is like one of the best times to be creative and to be an artist. Thank you, Russian person, for subscribing. I don't know how to read your name. But yeah, college is exciting. And you got to work on a lot of cool projects, exercises, really put some time into practicing and stuff like that, you know? Before it goes into the job world, where it's all compromises and working for money and stuff like this. So college is a wonderful time to experiment with animation. And, you know, sometimes I think back to college and I think like, I wish I had done more crazy projects, more... Like, there were some people who were really doing insane artsy stuff where I'm like, damn, I missed my chance to get really experimental. And, you know, nowadays it's very difficult to get time for personal projects. And, you know, back in college, almost every project is a personal project. And it's a really exciting time. Why do you use Toon Boom? Yeah, I'm using Toon Boom right now because it's the software that I was animating in frame by frame the longest. So I don't know, like the stuff that I'm doing right now, you really don't need to do that in Harmony. Like a lot of other software would be able to do it as well. Do I want to keep the cheek up? I think that could be nice. Where's my green onion skin? Huh, there we have it. Yeah, so we don't have the pose changing quite so much. Yeah, so... let's put in some more head lines here. Thank you, Karthik, for subscribing. Brushab asked, what is your opinion about Indian animation industry? I have to confess that I'm not that up to date on the topic. I was really impressed by a couple of Indian productions, and I was also, I heard from a couple of animators who moved to India to work for DreamWorks back when DreamWorks India was still a thing. You know, unfortunately they closed it now. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in India. And I have to say, like, I don't know so much about the industry, but through Animator Island, I know about the people because so many people from India are in my live stream, and they're all so nice and passionate and hardworking. So yeah, but about, you know, the exact job situation, unfortunately, I do not know that much. Yeah, I think that headband was really good that we put that in. Yeah. It really sells this feeling that the head is being pulled down. All right, okay. That was my biggest worry, that this animation part wouldn't work out. So I'm happy now that it is working. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do a short break. I'm gonna be back in just a couple minutes, and then we continue this wonderful animation and talk some more about your wonderful questions from the chat. So see you in a little bit. Alright, I'm back. Let me try something new here. I set something up so I can bring up the chat comments on the screen. Alright. Kasturi says, in India, the emphasis is so much on the software rather than the art. Oh, it's not bringing up the comment. I wanted to show you the comment overlays. Let's see. What is going on here? Now it works. Okay. So, in India, the emphasis is so much on software rather than the art itself, hence the animation is so bad. I think this is not only a problem in India, to be honest. Even at some animation schools, they're all like, okay, we show you how to do this in Maya. And, you know, it's good to know these things, it's good to know where the buttons are, but the soul of animation is not in the software. So, yeah, I wish studios, colleges, teachers would put more, and even animation supervisors and directors would put more emphasis on, you know, the emotions and the acting and the stuff behind it. And I even, like, there are some films, like Hoodwinked. I don't know who of you has seen this. Like, the first Hoodwinked, like, if you see the trailer, the animation is kind of stiff and weird, and the character design and lighting is not that good. But the story and the writing is just fits perfect. It has its own kind of humor, and it doesn't matter that the technology isn't that good there. It's just you could feel that, you know, the writing carries it. And you know, and if you have the right thoughts behind it, the technology will come. The technology will improve anyway. So, best frames per second for animation? What do we have here? There's a whole discussion going on in the chat. Let me catch up on that real quick. Okay, yeah. Rushab is already saying in most animation, the animators use 24 frames per second, but you know, you can also make animation 12 and 30 frames per second. 24 frames per second is somewhat standard for TV and film, says Scott. And SCB is describing, yeah, animating on 2s, which is when you are on 24 frames per second, you can hold 1 frame for 2 frames, and this way it goes down to 12 frames a second. By the way, I'm doing this here too. Everything we have done so far is on 2s. Do you see that in the timeline? There's always like 1, 2, and then here comes the new frame. 1, 2, and here comes the new frame. So I'm using 24 frames per second, but I go down to 12 frames per second most of the time by this kind of double exposure by animating on 2s. And especially for 2D animation, you know, this is done in almost all TV productions, and is fast enough for most cases. Scott says the higher the frames per second, the smoother the motion. Indeed, indeed. Have you people seen those artificial intelligence interpolated animations? Like, some people took like an animation from an anime, like a fighting sequence, and they put it into a artificial intelligence that added frames to interpolate it to be like on 60 frames per second. And I don't know, people are like, if you read the comments, the people are always like, oh, it's so smooth, it's so fluent. Thank you for subscribing, India Whale Ads. But I don't know, I think it loses a little bit of its soul sometimes. And then there are sometimes those weird interpolation artifacts where stuff gets just smeared and just floats into place, where the animator who originally animated it on 12 frames per second actually really wanted to hold the character still and then have him pop into a pose, but now the interpolation is doing like a weird kind of mess. I don't know, not the biggest fan of these interpolations. I think it could be used in a production, like if an animator right from the beginning plans for this sort of interpolation and knows how it works and uses it. I think it could have a place in an animation workflow, but I think just taking people's reduced animation work and adding frames on top of it, I don't know. There's still more stuff going on in the chat. It's so, like, we are still a very small YouTube channel, relatively. Like, you know, for the most big YouTubers, you can't even follow the conversation. And yet still, I always feel like I want to keep up with what you guys are talking about. Kasturi asks, can you make any... Story asks, can you make any video on bending and twisting forms? You mean like if you have like a character looking around his shoulder, or like what do you mean? Justice League animated movie. Ah, Mr. Creative. Yeah, I will check it out. I haven't seen it. But yeah, we should do, like, I really want to do an animation analysis soon again, too. Hey, Animators Inspire. Great to see you. Welcome back. Oh, Kasturi, you mean twisting shapes, but in 2D? Yeah, we can make a video about this. I have to say, like, nowadays, what I'm doing is I open up a 3D program like Blender, put in my shape, like very roughly modeled, like turn it, twist it in the 3D software, render that, and then I draw over it in the 2D animation software. I'm doing that a lot nowadays. But yeah, of course you can also construct it and like carefully, like you can do that just in 2D. But you know, sometimes cheating is okay. 7. How can I achieve anime-like animation? Well, just like any other animation. I feel like, of course, you know, the graphic style, the design is a huge part of anime, and then anime itself has a huge variation in animation styles. You know, there's the animation, sometimes even from one scene to another. You know, sometimes in an anime you get like one scene where the character's just drawn once and the mouth, only the mouth is like blah, 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 blah. And then in the next scene they have like a super fluid, awesome fight scene where the camera moves and everything. So it's a pretty big field, like, but it's not that different from, I mean, that's difficult to say. Like, it's not that different from American animation or, you know, Western animation. The principles are the same. Physics still works the same. Weight still works the same if you want to have the illusion of weight. And I think a lot of anime artists are just really smart in what frames they can get away with not drawing. And that also comes with experience. And then I worked on a production once where we were animating in an anime style with realistic proportions, and it took forever. Like, I'm not the fastest to draw realistic proportions, like with muscles and like really drawing how the different muscles connect with the bone and stuff. And that was very important to our director, so we were constructing this really carefully, you know, to have like the bump here in the arm and stuff like that, and all these details, and have like the muscles in the body and stuff like that. And it took like forever, like one frame. I don't know, sometimes the key poses took me hours to get right because the anatomy was so important. Um, Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Hello, ni hao. I don't quite understand what you mean, Mr. Creative. Ah, Sammy, interesting. Talking about shading, I'm having a really hard time trying to shade my animation. Could you show how you shade in Toon Boom? If you shade somewhere else, like during compositing. Yeah, in this project, we we only do trick shading. We just copy and shift the frame over and use this as a mask to create a shadow. Really cheap trick. It's not a really good shadow, but it works for most of the time. And yeah, I really wanted to make a video about this. Thank you for subscribing, Sammy. But a lot, like if you want to learn shading for real, like about the not how to do it with the technology, I feel like that is two things you should separate in your head. At least that helps me. Like, you know, there's the technology, how do you blend the shadow over it, how do you mask it, blah blah blah. And then there is how does light react and where is shadow caught on the face and stuff like this. And one thing that really helped me is I think you can do that in 3D. If you have like a head model in 3D in Blender and you move a light around and you observe where like on the cheeks the shadow and the light spots catch, like that really helped me a lot to sit down and study that. You could do that in real life too with like a mannequin head and a flashlight. But you know, having a really close eye on that can really improve your shading. And you know, there are a couple tricks like this triangle on the cheek and stuff like this. I should really make a video about this. Alright, more wonderful questions. Animators Inspire. Have you ever used Adobe Animate Flash? Yes, I have. It was the first software that I learned animation with. Ah, Sammy says, I'm just not sure how to do it in the software. Yeah. Yeah, I probably don't get to it today. I don't have something ready to show it to you now, but I'll keep it in mind. Ah, thank you, Anime Steel. Stopping by to say if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing and I believe in you. Thank you. I believe in you too. Mr. Creative asked about 2D effects. I really wanted to get into 2D effects at some point too. I have such a long list with tutorials that I want to do. Oh boy. Speaking of which, if you want to support me so that I can make more tutorials and have to work less on sad, dreadful projects that only give me money, but instead you want me to work on cool tutorials for you guys, then you can support me on Patreon. And it like, I mean it very seriously. Like, my plan is to, like, as soon as I can afford it, to work for Animator Island at least 2 full days. Like, that's my goal, hopefully for 2021. That would be so amazing. Yeah, but you know, what are you getting on the Patreon? You get exclusive videos. If I have premium videos, you also get videos from these premium videos included in your Patreon subscription. And we have a really cool mentoring tier. Let me pull that up for you right now. Patreon.com/Animator Island is the URL. And oh boy, that tier is really cool. For $19 a month, for 19 euros a month, I think it's like $24.50 or something like this, you can join our group mentoring live call. Every month, we meet all together, all group mentoring supporters, and you can bring whatever you're currently working on. It could be an animation, a story idea, a drawing, character design, a demo reel, and then you will get feedback from me or another professional mentor. There will always be at least one mentor there. And of course, you can discuss your project with the group, get feedback and advice, and improve not only your project, but also your art and animation skills in general. So yeah, this is the monthly group mentoring that you can get on Patreon. If that interests you, please check it out. And you know, there are a couple exclusive videos like here from the premium class that you would be able to see included in your Patreon subscription. Oh, and I did a while back I did an analysis of the animation in The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and there's a bonus video on Patreon where I had a look at another scene. And it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. With those robots fighting, it's a really cool scene. So if you become a Patreon supporter, you can see that as well. Alright, back to work. Let's see, where... I feel like I talked forever. Where did we left off? Okay, this is a bit confusing to see. Let's just have this layer. Alright. Okay, the rest is just facial expression. Okay, I think I have done the tricky parts that I wanted to do. So usually if this was like a, I don't know, if I was working with a lot of other people on this production, I would probably finish this pass of the animation to be complete before I moved on to cleanup. But because I know the director and I know that I'm the only one working on this shot, I'm gonna jump directly into cleanup. I do not recommend doing that unless you really know what you're doing. Kasturi asks, I have trouble maintaining volume during animation. Any tricks for that? Yeah, you know what? Let's actually even do one of those tricks right now. Well, while I was doing the poses, one of the tricks was I had the model sheet always underneath, and I'm gonna keep it underneath to always check my animation with the model sheet. But then one thing that I also like to do a lot is to make helper layers. Like, let's make one right now. And this would be like a helper for the head size. So let's just use the ellipse tool to create that. And we're gonna use this layer as a blueprint for the character's head size. So if I'm doing a drawing, let's say we're doing one a lot later, like here, I can use this move it over and see that my head size does not match up. So I would pull everything further over here, you know, and now in my cleanup, I can, of course, on an extra layer, clean up. I can, during cleanup, I now know that I should not go that far with my line because, you know, this helps me to maintain the volume. That is a trick that I really, really like to use a lot. Scott is recommending some books. Thank you very much. Your favorite animator channel, except for Animator Island TV. If it is for learning animation, I do like Sir Wade's YouTube channel. He does a lot of he only does 3D. Well, that's not true. I think he did a 2D project recently. But yeah, he's a 3D animator, and he worked at DreamWorks and gives a lot of cool insights. And his channel is very YouTube-ish, very YouTube star-like, very entertaining, and a lot of cool knowledge there on you know, the DreamWorks way of making animation. A lot of Maya, but he has also been shifting over to Blender now. So yeah, Sir Wade's YouTube channel is good. What else? There's so many other great YouTubers. I should make like a list at some point. I think we do have like an animation resource list. Like years ago, we did one on Animator Island. I think we really need to update that. Have like a board of animation resources, and you know, it could be even more. Like it could be about books. It could be about YouTube channels. Maybe even free rigs or stuff like this. We could collect. Yeah, we need to make a collection or something like that. I think that would be good. Yeah, Howard Wimshurst. It's really good. Yeah, and for Mohu, McCoy Buck, really cool guy. Really good. I learned how to work in Moho from his tutorials. Like everything I know in Moho is because of his Udemy tutorials. Yeah, Aaron Blaze is cool too. Like if you want to look across the shoulder of a Disney animator, Aaron Blaze YouTube channel is amazing. And he has some amazing art, really good character designs, really good with animal characters. Alrighty, cleanup. Start by putting down the head volume. Maybe let's make the other lines a bit more transparent. Okay, so this is not gonna be transparent. This is the clean line. Clean line, there we go. Let's put the model sheet next to him. All right. And let's use the pencil just in case I need to correct the line size. Snowfix Art says, first time on your live stream, welcome. What are you animating? I'm animating a cutscene for a game. The game is going to be called MS Salmon, and it's a really cool mix of different genres. Like there are going to be adventure, point-and-click adventure game parts. There will be a shooter doing like a heist. It's like a film noir detective story thing. Yeah, and it's gonna have awesome cutscenes. And the guy who's doing the project, really awesome person, makes really fun stuff. The writer's really good. So yeah, it's a lot of fun working on this. I hope I'm not gonna regret the pencil, because, you know, sometimes pencil lines are a bit difficult to fill. There was a question earlier in the chat, if I remember. The game will be called MS Salmon. It's gonna take a while until it is out. Tips for beginners. Check out my 2D animation class for beginners, of course. I did have the link earlier. Of course, I now lost it again. Good night, Seven. Sleep well. Here, this is our 2D animation class, starting at the very beginning. Sammy speaks about troubles constructing the characters. Have you done like a very systematic construction course at some point? Because I can really recommend like learning anatomy and stuff that will take care of a lot of troubles with construction and keeping volume. Like if you really force yourself to do like nude drawings and anatomy studies and that like regularly, like every other day or something like this, you will get so much better at construction. I have to admit that I need to do it more often. Because anatomy was something that I was always kind of like, yeah, I mean, I look at the stuff, but then there's like, oh, stories, oh, acting. That always interested me more, but that really helped me to make a jump in quality in my drawings. So yeah, we were talking about channel recommendations earlier, Stan Prokopenko has really good drawing tutorials, and also about construction and stuff like this. Snowfix, is this a freelance project or are you working in-house with a studio? This is a freelance project. I was hired by the director. We studied together. So it's really cool. It's like, you know, working with friends on a really cool project. So it doesn't really feel like a commercial project, but I'm getting paid for it. So that's great. And I can stream about it. Scott asks, how long do you normally live stream for? It depends. Like, for this project, when I work on this, I usually try to shoot at 3 to 4 hours, because while I sometimes go off tracks in the live stream, I think it does help me to get some progress, you know, to sit down and live stream and not get, I don't know, I can't really get up from my space while I'm live streaming. So it takes care from me of that part of procrastination. So I try to do like half a work day on stream sometimes. But, you know, as everybody knows, I'm not doing that regularly. But yeah, I want to live stream more. Snowfix recommends, there's, let me pull up the comments, I can actually show you. Snowfix Art says, there's a website called Sketch Daily. Give very nice reference poses to draw from. I think I used that a while too. Yeah, I can really recommend it, and websites like this. What would you include in your portfolio as a student? It depends what the portfolio is for. Like, is it like to get a job or to get into college? I would make sure that I know what they are looking for. You know, like see what the style is. Like, even different studios have different styles. And if you know what project they are hiring for, even better, or what kind of project, then I would try to meet that a little bit. And, you know, also throw in some variety, of course, that's always good. But it makes sense to tailor your portfolio towards the style of the studio and the style of the college, because oftentimes they're looking for more of the same. So it's good to show them a solid base of what they are expecting, what they are looking for, and then if you can surprise them beyond that, that's even better. But, you know, a lot of the times people have a very clear expectation of why they are hiring and what they're looking for. And I would make a different demo reel. Like, it depends on, you know, in the beginning you don't have that many animations. But I've reached the point where I put different stuff in my demo reel depending on who I am, or depending on where I'm applying. I do not like the line. You know, trying to anticipate what they might be looking for. Just make this higher and this maybe lower. No. Oh, I forget that I'm in Harmony. The cool thing about Harmony is that you can do things like just overshooting the lines like this, because we can just get rid of them later. It's one of my favorite features. I always look for that when I try new software. I look for this edge cutting feature. Yeah, I think this is the main reason why I'm doing this in Harmony. This frame-by-frame animation right now. Because now I can just go in, use the cutter, and just cross out these lines. I love this feature. So many more softwares should have this. Clip Studio Paint has it too, I think, as far as I know. There was a question earlier if I would recommend Vector or Bitmap for cleanup, and for me, I love Bitmap. For me, it's always been like, if I can, I'm always gonna use Bitmap. Unless I have like a style like where I want like charcoal lines or, you know, like watercolor. That's obviously not possible in Vector. But I do like Vector features like, you know, crossing out the line in Harmony. And that, you know, I can just grab single lines and adjust them like I have been doing, like you saw, I have been doing constantly. So for me, this is turning cleanup into more like a molding process, into a like almost like sculpting. I'm sculpting the lines rather than I have to get them right with my bitmap brush, and if I change anything about the scale, it gets pixely and looks all wonky and funky. So for that reason, I really prefer the projects where I can work with bitmap. Oh, Darren says that feature is in OpenTunes? Oh, really? I must have overlooked it. I know that I was looking for it years ago, and I think at this point they didn't have it. They had like a workaround, but it was kind of weird. Sammy, I'll do the anatomy studies every other day from now on. That's awesome. That's great. You will see, like, the first couple of weeks might be frustrating, but after a month, like, really put your drawings aside, and after a month, look at the first drawing you did and your most recent drawing. You will see a difference, and you will learn things. You will learn, like, where muscles connect, and you know, that's stuff that can really make a difference. And Proco's stuff is really fun for learning anatomy and doing studies. Talking about gaming 2D animation. Recommendations of learning to draw. Yeah, let me give you the Proco series. Proco YouTube channel. Let me put in the link. Proco. Yeah, Croco is great for learning how to draw. Some people meeting in the chat, that's awesome. Ah, Darren T, you're doing tutorials too? Oh, Animators Inspire discovered the upcoming live stream. Yeah, so I worked on a game already 2 years ago, and it's now coming out, or it just came out. It's called Minute of Island, and on Sunday, I'm gonna meet with 2 of my fellow animators who worked on this project, and we're gonna discuss the animation and yeah, how we worked on this project, how we created the rigs. It's rigged characters in Spine is the name of the software, and yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of a behind the scenes making of talking about the challenges and how we solved them, and show off some of the cool things that we did with the rigs. And the game is called Minute of Islands. It's out now on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. And the art style is gorgeous. Like, this comic style from our art director is so beautiful. And, you know, you can just walk around and look at all the insane amount of details. But yeah, I hope the animation is also quite nice and captures the flair, and like wind has an extremely important element in this game. Yeah, so that's a live stream that's gonna take place on Sunday. It's 4:30 p.m. Central Europe time. That is 7:30 a.m. Los Angeles time, and 8 o'clock p.m. in India. Animators Inspired. Did you get it for free since you worked on it? Like, this, for some reason, is difficult. Like, I got a copy now for the stream. But like, I always hear from the game studios, you know, the game studios work for publishers, and the publishers take care of putting the game on Steam and blah blah blah. I always hear from the game studios, like, we barely get any Steam keys from the publisher. Like, the publishers are very yeah, they don't give out a lot of keys, and I think that's not nice. I feel like everybody who worked on the game should have a Steam key, or should, you know, get their own copy of the game. But yeah. So I do wish I would get every copy of a film or animation that a game that I've worked on, but you know, sometimes that is not the case, unfortunately. And you know, often it's not even the fault of the people that you worked with. It's just, you know, some higher up, there's like a marketing team or something that says no. Is there a digital art book for the game? Yes. And I think, you know, there's like a Steam There's like a special edition version with the soundtrack and the art book, and there's, you know, just the game or something like this. And the art book for this is really worth it. I really love the style of our art director. Tim Gadke is his name, Berlin-based art director or comic artist. He's a comic artist, really good. Will you leave your Sunday stream on your channel? Yes. Yeah, and you know, other than the work streams, which are a bit weird to watch after they happened, I think this upcoming stream on Sunday is really worth watching, even as a recording, because it's more of like an interview thing, and you know, we're gonna talk about what we remember from the production, and it's like, I think it was 2 years ago. They took like 1.5 years ago. They took a lot more time for like bug fixing and polishing the game and stuff. So we're kind of like, how did we solve this again? Oh, amazing! How we did it in this rig, crazy. So it will be a little bit of us discovering cool things in our own rigs. Hello, Poofy. Right now I'm working on a cutscene for a video game, and I'm already in cleanup for this frame, but I have not really made progress here. How was that? What did I say earlier? I do live streaming to keep me from procrastinating. Sometimes that doesn't quite work. The game that I'm working on is called MS Salmon, or, you know, it's going to be called that. It's not out yet. It's going to take a long time till we have it all put together. So, yeah, this is a cutscene where our character, our film noir detective, is in a bar, and her assistant is, his assistant is coming in, asking where he is, because they're gonna have like a very important mission, but he's in the bar drinking, you know. So the assistant just showed up behind him, and he's like pretending like, I'm not here. Thank you for subscribing. I think I have the normal edition of Minute of Island, because I have a lot of the concept art on my hard drive, or you know, on the files that I was given to animate the characters. I hope they're gonna do a real printed art book at some point, because I think I'm gonna get that. I do like art books, like especially big art books, to place them somewhere. Alright. Finally, we have this frame done. I feel like it took me forever. Guarantee, do I know your YouTube channel? I must. Let me look that up. Yeah, of course I know your YouTube channel. Oh, YouTube. Why are you so loud? Oh yeah, I do know your YouTube channel. I was before I did my OpenTunes tutorials. I was looking at yours and how you were doing them. I was about to say, because I do occasionally stalk my subscribers and I look through the list and see who else has a YouTube channel. Because it's really interesting. You know, and often it's a really small world. Often it's like, oh yeah, I've seen a video like that before. Or, you know, the YouTube algorithm also does a good job recommending animation topics to animators. Alright. Okay. Just want to mention it again real quick. We do have a Patreon now. And one cool thing that we have on this Patreon is the group mentoring tier. If you join Patreon as a group mentoring supporter, you can join a monthly group mentoring session. And to that session, you can bring whatever you're currently working on. It could be an animation, a demo reel, a story idea, a character design, anything. And I will be there, or another mentor, another professional mentor, and we will have a look at it and give you feedback, draw over it, give you tips and tricks and advice. And of course, there's also the group. There are the other group members with which you can discuss your ideas, refine them, and yeah, lift your skills to the next level with the group mentoring on Patreon. So that is interesting to you. I would invite you to check that out on patreon.com/animatorisland. And put that in the chat. Yeah. Thank you, Scott. And you know, we didn't talk about this yet, but you could also, of course, be there as a mentor at some point if you want. And yeah, because it's Patreon, because this is paid, I can hire other mentors from time to time. Like at the moment, I think we are only 2D animators. But you know, if there's a 3D animator joining, then because this is Patreon, it allows me to actually pay a mentor to come in. And, you know, I know a bunch of cool people in the industry, so I hope as this group mentoring grows, that we're gonna have little workshops and little, you know, guests coming on and helping the supporters to make their projects the best they can be. Yeah. I need a short break, but I'm gonna be back in just a couple minutes, and then we're gonna continue this animation and hopefully have it be more than just one frame. See you in a little bit. Right, and we're back. Okay, we have to work a little more on our penguin scene here. You know, we want to get some results. I do like how this cleanup turned out so far, though. Darren T was talking about the OpenToonz community and it being quite small at the moment. I think OpenToonz recently they did some really good steps that will allow the software to grow. Like that they switched the default view to the horizontal timeline. I think was a really good decision. I don't quite understand the decision to switch to bitmap layers by default, because it renders a lot of tutorials that were made previously for OpenToonz. It just confuses people because they can no longer use the vector tools on the default layers. But yeah, I think because filling sometimes is a bit messed up on vector layers. And I think like the biggest thing that unfortunately keeps OpenToonz from growing is that, you know, you immediately run into this this concept of having levels and drawings and exposures and you know, they caught it quite well with the Sandbox project. You can technically immediately start animating in the Sandbox project, but it's really like you need to understand what a project is and what a level is. And, you know, in Krita, you can just start animating without really thinking about these kinds of things. But I mean, it's getting better, and yeah, the tutorials obviously help people to understand how all these systems work. Good question. What is this referring to? Darren T, I agree with your summary. Yeah, it's a pity because it's so powerful. I mean, it's so close to Toon Boom Harmony, and Toon Boom Harmony costs thousands of euros, and OpenToonz is free. Like, it is so amazing. Rushab was asking, what is your PC specifications? Good question. Let's look it up right now. System configuration. Oh no, this is wrong. Where's the... Isn't it like a nice system information thing? Huh? Where is that? Pull that up right now. I do like my NVIDIA graphic cards. I can tell you so far because they work so wonderfully with the Adobe products. So let's write this down. I have an Intel i7-7700K CPU. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. Where's my graphic card? Graphic settings? Oh, wonderful. This new Windows control panel is so useless. NVIDIA control panel. There we go. And I have a GeForce GTX 1060. GTX 1060 with a 6 GB of RAM. So these are my computer stats, and this is not the newest setup by far. I haven't upgraded my PC in a while. Usually, like every other year. I haven't done it in a while though. But yeah, usually every other year I'm gonna get a new graphics card, or I'll look into switching or upgrading the RAM. And then, you know, sometimes with that, you're like, oh, my main board doesn't fit this. And then I switch my main board. And I'm really into replacing parts with better parts every now and then. And I try to lose the fear a little bit of plugging something, like opening up my computer and plugging stuff out, plugging new stuff in. But yeah, one thing that I don't do myself is the CPU, because if you do something wrong with the cooling paste and the fan that you need to put on top of the CPU, you can really mess up your computer, and you know, you can damage your hardware. So I always let somebody in a computer store do that, and then take the main board there and what kind of images do I look for anatomy studies, and where can I find them? Question by Sammy. Yeah, there are a lot of like, if you Google for like, what is it called? Like, there are websites that have like nude drawings, like one drawing a day or something that help you with sketching. I'm blanking out on a name. But yeah, you can find that, like anatomy studies, like just Google that and new drawings, and you will find websites that have like collections. And I mean, at the moment with Corona, this is all a bit difficult, but if you can really go to classes, or just studies where they have a model, that's a whole different thing than drawing from a photo. And you know, sometimes if you have a university nearby with like art classes, they sometimes offer that. But you know, of course, after COVID is over, Okay, let's pick a question that I can answer while I work. Chicken nugget. One is called Quick Pose, something close like that. Yeah, very possible. There are also apps nowadays, which is also cool because you always have your phone with you and you get a push notification that's like, hey, do your daily drawing. That's really can be really helpful. Have you ever thought about getting a Mac? Question by Animators Inspire. I always only had Windows PCs ever. Until recently, I have like a side job. Actually, hour-wise at the moment, it's my main job at a company that does e-learning material and stuff. So I'm at the moment I'm not doing full-time animation, unfortunately. I wish I could, but you know, with Corona and COVID, I had to get something else. So I'm helping at an e-learning firm, and there my laptop is a Mac. And I don't know, like I like how... Oh, let me put in my screen again while I work. I like in Windows how it has a little bit of a... You can change a lot more about the system. Like Macs, I feel like they are a lot more locked off and simpler with a couple of things. I mean, obviously software is no longer an issue. You can get the whole Adobe Creative Cloud, you can have Blender and all the stuff also on a Mac, but somehow I always felt, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I felt like the Mac operating system is restricting me in some ways. And I really don't like the Finder, the File Explorer. I like the File Explorer in Windows so much better, where you can just click and copy a path from your file system, and you can insert it in another Explorer window. You can't do that in a Mac Finder. Why can't you do that in a Mac Finder? Or maybe I have not found this, but... yeah, it's like a lot of little things like this that annoy me, but maybe it's also a thing of I'm used to that differently from Windows, which I think, you know, always is a huge part when people say like, oh, this is my favorite system, this is my favorite software. A lot of times it's just that you are used to it, right? And that's why you like it the most. But like really, I'm missing some of the functions of the File Explorer in my daily work. And yeah, and then stuff like my audio. Just the other day, okay, it's an old laptop because the company doesn't buy new hardware. Just the other day, all my audio devices disappeared. And you Google that, and the Google search ended in, yeah, send it to an Apple support center or something like this. Whereas in Windows, I feel like you always find like, then go into the registry and do this or that. Like you find a lot more, I don't know, but maybe, maybe I just haven't found the real lovable parts about Macs. Oh, Sammy, so you recommend drawing from nude images? Yeah, I mean, this is what you will find most material on, but yeah, using a figure with a muscle system can be really good too. I had an app once, of course I do not know the name right now, which was like a posable figure, and you know, you could pose it and the muscles would actually like contract and move and stuff like this. And that was, yeah, that was really helpful too. What is the biggest production you've ever worked on? I think Minute of Island, which is, yeah, for the people who are just joining us, Minute of Island is a game that just came out. You can find it on Steam and stuff right now. It's like a platform puzzle adventure game. Let's get the eye from the model sheet, actually. You know, this is how I avoid problems with the model, by occasionally going to the model sheet and tracing stuff. Like, that's one of my big tips to keep drawings on model. Yes, Sammy, the live streams will stay up, and there will be more live streams. So, yeah, have a good night. So yeah, the biggest project I've ever worked on. Yeah, I've never worked for Disney or Pixar, or like a big studio like this. I have mostly worked on indie projects, And Minute of Islands is also an indie project, but I think the team was like 30, 40 people, counting all the devs and interns and yeah, but our animation department was really small. We were like kind of outsourced. And in the beginning, I was the animation lead and producer, and I was organizing our animation team. Thank you for the new subscribers. Welcome. Bye, Sammy. And in the animation department, we were like 4 to 5 people. Well, like the same three people, like for most of the time, but we would get some help towards like crunch times and stuff like that. At this point, I don't even know if I want to work in a big Hollywood production, because you just... What's so cool with the independent projects, you can listen to what the other departments are doing. You can see what's going on, and you can bring in your own ideas even in the meetings of other departments. Whereas I feel like in really big studios, this is probably already very split up. And often the animators, I think, are a little bit at the lower end of the chain. Like, sure, they can bring in some acting ideas and stuff like this, but you know, the stuff that I'm really interested in is like the acting, which also has a lot to do with the story. And I don't like projects where I'm like completely removed from the story. Good, for Minute of Islands, I didn't have any influence on the story, but I don't know. I prefer the smaller projects where it's more like a family vibe, and we together try to make this happen, and solving problems as the whole team. It has all advantages and disadvantages. Where should you start when learning 2D animation? Yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen the link for my 2D animation class earlier. There's a video very early on in this 2D animation class where I talk about splitting animation by the different areas of animation. The problem with animation is there's so much you have to think about at once. You have to think about physics, you have to think about acting, you have to think about staging. It should look nice in the camera. You have to think about character design. You have to think about color, shading. You know, these are all areas that some people study for their entire life. And you as an animator, you just have to do it all at once. And this can be very, very difficult when first learning, because it can be very overwhelming. So what I recommend, and you know, there's not just me, it's also a lot of the schools teach that way. They focus on physics first. And that actually does make a lot of sense, because, you know, physics is, out of all the artsy stuff, it's like the thing that can be learned the most, because, you know, physics is physics. There are formulas about how our world works. So learning about weight and inertia, resistance, and just animate little exercises. Excuse me. Like pendulums, characters jumping, characters shifting balance, like very simple characters. The bouncing ball, just stuff falling to the ground, a brick falling down, tipping over. This might not sound like a very interesting animation, but it really helps you to isolate the challenges, the different challenges that animation has. Yeah, and then when you're done with physics and you feel like you have a good grip on how to create weight and stuff like this, then it is time to move on and maybe learn about acting, design, making your design better. Yeah, and I talk about in the video what these different categories are that you could do separate sets of exploration for. Alright, Animators Inspire, see you hopefully in a bit. I don't know how much longer it's gonna be. It's getting really difficult to talk and bring out coherent sentences. For how long have I been on? 2 hours plus the hour before? 3 hours. Not too bad. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be that much longer here. But it's always nice to see you. Any of you watching. You know, and also drawing, learning how to draw and learning how to animate at the same time is also not a good idea. You should separate that and, you know, have like, especially in the beginning, be like, okay, the drawing is not important here. I want to have nice looking motion. I want to have a snappy motion here. I want to practice something. I want to have a motion that feels heavy. Or something like that, you know, and the quality of the drawing shouldn't be that important at first. And separately from that, you should maybe make construction exercises or new drawing or stuff like this. The stuff that we talked about earlier. To focus on the drawing quality purely. I really like redrawing lines even if I could just copy paste them, because it gives it in 2D, it gives it this nice wobble of the lines being alive. Okay. Alright, I'm getting a bit quieter because it's difficult to concentrate on talking and doing clean lines at the same time. Ah, good chicken nugget. Yeah, I'm happy to help. This was what I could think of spontaneously. And, you know, one very important thing is even like get help early. Like what's really good is like groups of like-minded artists. Like if you have other people who are maybe starting out to learn animation with you, or who are already a little bit further, first of all, it can be very motivating to have a group where you can share your work, and then you can also benefit from, if they already know a little bit more than you do, they can give you tips, and if you have picked something up that they don't know yet, you can help them out. So that's really helpful. Why are we doing this frame by frame? I have a nice rig in Moho. Yeah, no, I wanted to do a frame by frame animation again, because I hadn't done one in a while. And I felt like animating the head, pulling the hat over the head. I'm also not a native speaker. Is a lot easier in frame by frame than it would be in with the rig. Alright. I think I didn't do a character with such thin of an outline in a long time. Kinda happy to do that though. Somehow I always tend to do very thick lines in my art styles. Don't know why that is. Alright, let's do the overshoot frame. Boy, which is which here? Let's cut off this one. Yeah, now we have a really nice combination. Except for the head. Let's do the hat first. And really have this 3D tilt. I really love those moments where like one line goes up and one line goes down to tell this perspective. That is really nice. Let's see how they had it here. Oh, we're at the end of the playlist. Now we should have a shuffle in the music. Let's get the straight ahead scribble on again. And now we can get our head size layer to measure the actual head size. To really make sure that we get that right. Yeah, wonderful. Alright, again, let's take the eyes from the model sheet. And, you know, by taking stuff occasionally from the model sheet, it's a really good way to avoid going off model while, you know, redrawing it rather than just copying it. Gives you some nice living lines, some wobble in the lines, which I think is always pretty nice. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I'm getting a little quieter. I'm sorry if the stream is not as entertaining anymore. Yeah, I probably have to stop streaming soon because I realized that, you know, it can be kind of exhausting talking and working at the same time. I will usually, while doing cleanup, if I have most of the animation work done, like if I had, like, you know, there was this tricky place earlier that we already animated in a sketch, I would usually fully try to focus on that. But since this is more like fill-in-the-blank work now, I probably listen to a podcast or something after the live stream, or just some music. Because, you know, we already made all the important decisions. Let's copy that beak by redrawing it. This is something you will see me do a lot too. Like, I'm redrawing this beak from a previous from an upcoming frame, and then I modified it a little bit because the perspective is different, and now I'm just gonna move it up. And this way I also made sure that, you know, the perspectives stay connected, and the volumes. Did I trace it from the wrong beak? Why does it look so... Let's make it a little slimmer. Yeah. Oh, and Critical Role. I'm right now listening to Critical Role Campaign 2. I just started half a year ago. But this is my go-to work podcast now. Listening to them playing D&D. And now I'm really looking forward to stuff like coloring, or, you know, those very tedious tasks where you can listen to a podcast, listen to audio. I'm like, oh, wonderful, I'm gonna get further in Critical Role today. It's still gonna take me dozens of episodes to catch up. Filippo asks, learning harmony is a must if you... Well, let's move on screen. Learning harmony is a must if you want to get a job in the industry as a 2D animator, isn't it? Well, it helps. If you know harmony, you can get a job as a like many positions will be specifically for harmony animators. Like it will say in the job description, like needs to know animation or rigging or whatever in harmony. And if you're applying for such a job, then obviously that's gonna help you a lot. Plus, if you are still studying, the student version of harmony is actually quite affordable. So it definitely can't hurt to learn it. Now here, because we are stretching the character, we're gonna reduce the volume a bit. Yeah, you see our volume layer in the back, like the perfect circle is the head size. We're gonna make it a little bit slimmer. Like this. Yeah, so it's definitely a useful software to know. And my approach, to software has changed over the year. Like, I started out as a big fan of Flash, and I was like, oh, Flash is so great, everybody should use Flash. And I was doing a lot of projects in Flash, and then I discovered Harmony, and then I was similar. I was like, you should really check out this animation software, it's really good. But over the years, I realized, software is only software. And especially in 2D animation, okay, rigging and puppet animation is a little bit different, but also not that much. You kind of only need to know where the buttons are. If you learn a new software, it's not like learning animation from scratch. It's just learning where the buttons are. And if you already know animation, if you know about keyframes, if you know about the different animation methods and stuff like that, then learning a new software is more like learning or just looking where the things are that you already know. Unless it's like an approach to animation that you have to learn, then that is something different. But I would say, like, anybody who knows how to animate in Harmony will know how to animate in OpenToonz in just a couple of days. Anybody who knows how to animate in Harmony will know how to animate in Flash after like a couple tutorials. So I can recommend learning as many or looking into as much software as possible. It's a little bit different for like rigging. Like if you learn Moho, you need to learn how to specifically rig in Moho. But even then, some principles repeat. I'm not sure if that answered the question. It's always like, it depends. Big fan. Thank you, Darkside. Future animation. I want to know if you know what the option is best out of drama, media studies, design technologies, computer science, and I'm already picking art, but I can pick one more thing. I want to be a 2D animator. Drama, media studies, design, technology. Where is that, in the US? Thank you for subscribing, Future Animator. I think it depends, like... I think it's not a thing of, oh, this is the best pick out of all of them, like this is the best subject. UK, okay, yeah, I don't... I think I don't know the exact content of these... Oops. The exact content of these fields in the UK. Like, they might be different from how they are in Germany and from how they are in the US. I think I would base it on your interest. They are all good picks, but they could all shift your animation career a little bit to have a different focus. Like, obviously, if you choose drama, you can have more time to think about, you know, dramatic presentations, in stories, in acting, you know, and it will allow you to focus on the character side of character animation. If you take computer science or design technology, it will obviously have like a more technological... You will have a more technological approach to things. And they all can find use in animation. Computer science. If you learn actually programming in computer science, like nowadays, personally, I would probably either pick drama, because I really like the acting part in theater, and I don't know, are you even also playing in drama? Like, do you do stage acting there? Like, I would love that. I never did that, and but I think I would do more computer science stuff and maybe learn programming. Like a language that is used in 3D animation software, like Python. Because then I could write my own tools. How cool would that be if I could write my own automations, if I could program my rigs a little bit more. That's a thing that I really wish I could do more. So I don't think any of the options like is gonna be a problem. And it should be what, like, look at the content, look at the professors, maybe get other people to tell you how the professors are, because that's always a very big factor in any subject. And then pick what interests you the most. And especially in animation, you can use anything. You can do a sport, and then maybe one day you have to animate a scene where this sport is being played, and you're like, oh, I know this. That's why I played soccer all the time. Or, like, some animators who have done, like, fight sports, they really have an advantage animating fighting scenes. You know, so any interest is good. Anything that interests you is good. Zeki. I'm the dev of the Twidget add-on. Yeah, cool thing. Really useful. Let's put it on right now. Widget. Really useful add-on. If you're still listening. I'm multi-streaming on Twitch, so it would be awesome if I could also show Twitch chat messages. And, you know, I'm an animator, so animation would be nice. Like, if I could click on the messages and I could, like, slide in. That would be cool. But yeah, really, really helpful. Thank you for your work. Darkside asks, which software is... Oh, actually use Twidget here. What software is better for 2D animation, Blender or OpenToonz? Well, Blender right now has a few bumps, has a few things that you need to be aware of when you're learning the animation tools in there. I think it depends on the... It depends on the project. If you have like 2D animation with 3D backgrounds, then working directly in Blender would be awesome. Yeah, OpenToonz has this very professional, traditional 2D frame-by-frame approach that, I don't know, is very professional and tested and works very well. So they both have advantages and disadvantages, as always, and they are tools for different purposes. Again, my suggestion, as always, is learn both. And start with both and see whatever feels more natural for you and comes easier for you to do your project. And then use that for your projects for a while. And then when you realize, oh, I want to do more 3D things, then it makes a lot of sense to look into Blender. Yeah. Yeah, and Zeki, who did this wonderful plugin that allows us to see the chat messages, said they're working on the Twitch and Facebook platforms right now. Wonderful, so we can soon also show comments from Twitch on the stream. That would be awesome. And animations. Yeah. Hi, KLArts. Nice to see you. I'm doing fine. How are you? Oh, I really like it. I really like our... We took a long time with these drawings, but I think it's worth it. They are nice. We might make a few less in-betweens. I have to work on this tomorrow. I have to get this done. I want to get this done this week. Where's the cutter here? Oh, I like it though. It has some nice three-dimensionality in the hat. See how it is with a camera crop. I switch this on, yeah. Still getting rid of stray lines here. Oh, there are a lot in this drawing. Yeah, I love it. Thank you no wrong for subscribing. Spooky background music. I like this whole genre of silly spooky. Like those fun Halloween things. I love it. Like I want to do a ghost story thing at some point. So like I loved Gravity Falls. I don't know. It's just fun. Spooky can be so much fun. Here another very good question. When I start to animate something, a story for example, I don't understand how to do the full process from the beginning to the end. What can you recommend? Is that something that would interest more people? I mean, I think a good way to get more a feeling of the whole animation process, like in a really big picture way, it can help to watch making offs of feature films, of TV series, and then you will get a feeling for like what steps are involved, and you know, especially pay attention to all the kinds of like look development and making model sheets and stuff like that. But then there's also a lot of knowledge involved for like how you do your posing, how you do your thumbnails and stuff like this, and that is something that animation, that information doesn't seem to be that publicly available sometimes. I don't know, I always wanted to do, like before I started working on MS Salmon, on the shot that I'm working on right now, a few of you guys probably saw it. I think some of your regulars were there when I started the animation with the bear, and we had like a live stream about finding the story for Big Scary Bear. Big Scary Bear brushes his teeth. That is the story, or wants to brush his teeth. And I wanted to do that animation like from beginning to end, all on stream. And also then make like a shorter version, like a short documentary of the different production steps. I also had an idea, like, you know, our list 51 animation exercises. I wanted to do something like 51 steps to get your animation done. And it has steps like do the character design, do this, do that, draw your background art. Like, it doesn't have like a whole lot of information, but you can use it as a checklist and then be like, oh yeah, right, I need to do look development, I need to think about my colors. Like, you know, you find that in the list and be like, and then you know what the different steps are that you can look into. And even if I don't have tutorials for every single step yet, you know what to look for and what the common steps are in a production. That was something I was thinking about doing. Yeah, and Kalat's, that's a very good point. Every in-house production will be different, so there's no one true way. Oh, good tips. Yeah, thank you, Kalat. Alright, I think I have to stop. My focus, my concentration is really lacking. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's answer some more questions. A little bit of time for a couple questions we have. Hey Chris Blair, thank you for subscribing. What are your views on illustration and doodling? Well, doodle as much as you want. It's a great way to practice and stay creative. Yeah. Kalatz is back animating in 3D. Cool, yeah, rigging is awesome. I wish I could rig. Hello, Umesh. Unfortunately, we are wrapping it up for today, right now, but yeah, alright, so, this was for the first time, we were streaming in OBS. And yeah, except for the internet cutting out, it was quite successful, I think. I want to tell you about one more thing though, before we leave. This weekend on Sunday, we have a stream where I meet with 2 other animators to have a look at the animation of Minute of Islands. This is a puzzle adventure game. And I did I was working on it. I was working on it as an animation lead, and 2 other people will be joining me that worked as animation supervisors and character animators on the project. And we're gonna talk about the rigs in Spine. We're gonna talk about how the animation process was for the project. And yeah, we'll answer your questions about game animation. On Sunday, it's 4 p.m. Central Europe time, 7:30 in the morning. Well, you know the best thing, just check it out on the social media channels, on the Facebooks and the Twitter. And the event is also there on YouTube, so you can just set a reminder there. That's easier than looking up time zones. Yeah, those backgrounds look amazing, don't they? The art director, Tim Gadko, was really awesome. We didn't have that much to do with it, but yeah, was really amazing art. Was really great bringing it to life. And yeah, it has an Adventure Time look. Really cool. So yeah, I'd be very happy if some of you could be there on Sunday. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like Kerstin and Moritz, the 2 people that are joining me, they're super nice, super awesome, talented animators. So oh, okay, that's interesting point. There's so many roles that go into animation that aren't just animator. We need to talk about that actually on the channel. Like, I want to make a video, like not a live stream. I want to make a video about this because I've seen it so many times that people go study animation. They're like, I want to be a character animator at Pixar. But there's so much more. Like, doing awesome rigs can be so amazing. Doing layouts in a 2D animation production is so important. And, you know, oftentimes people realize like, oh, I don't want to become an animator. I like this other job a lot more. You just need to learn about what all the little jobs are. And, oh yeah, PA, wrangler, colorists, really good point. Technical artists. Yeah, CalArts, totally agree. We need to talk about that in more detail. Yeah, so one more reason to learn Harmony and to learn it from the technical side of things. Like, Harmony TDs are always in such great demand. Alright, thank you all so very much for watching. It was a lot of fun talking to you and answering the chat and drawing with you together on that animation. And I'm looking forward to next time. We're probably going to stream. I'm probably going to stream tomorrow, I hope. Don't promise anything. And yeah, then on Sunday is the big stream with guests. I'm very nervous, but I hope it's going to be good. All right. Have a great day. Morning, evening, whatever it is in your part of the world. Stay motivated and stay healthy and keep on animating. See you around. Bye bye.